You ever find yourself interviewing for a role you're really not that interested in because, hey, it's better than nothing? Well, that happened to my client this week. Amber, we'll call her. She comes into the call and she's super excited because she just got her first interview. I'm like, congrats, Amber. What's the role? And instantly, you see her face settle. Well, it's more along the lines of first line operations, but it does have some strategic work. I mean, it's not my ideal, but I think it can be a stepping stone and they want me. So, I mean, I could totally do it. And it's not just one person who's seen this, it's kind of been a pattern lately. And so the question for today is, why do we give our attention to what comes our way at the expense of our target positions? When I was in my counseling program, and this was years and years back, one of the first things that became painfully aware is that what we believe, what we say, and what we do don't always coincide with each other. They don't always match. I coach clients on this every single week. And so today, let's get curious and explore this pattern to better understand why you might be spending time on what's right in front of you, like, I don't know, an open job posting, all at the expense of what you're intentionally deciding to focus on, your ideal perfect match position. Hey there, you're listening to the Uncommon Career Podcast, and I help you to get focused on what actually matters so that you can get the job you intended, not the one that was handed to you, but doesn't quite hit the mark. My name is Patricia Ortega, and I'm a counselor turned career coach and curious explorer, helping you to understand and elevate your career choices. Today is very much a field notes episode where I tell you a little bit of what I'm seeing as I'm coaching my clients through so it can be helpful for you as well. Now, here's the frustration that I hear all the time. I'm only hearing back for roles that I'm not really interested in. Now, on the surface, this sounds like a job market issue. It's the market, right? But underneath, I think there's something else that might be going on. Because the question that comes up in my head is first, interesting. Did you apply to that role? And of course, the answer is yes. But the reason I ask is because my second question is I'm having a hard time bridging the idea that you're not interested in a role, but yet you applied for it. There's a bit of a conflict there. And so the pattern I keep seeing looks a little bit like this. You spend a lot of time on what's right in front of you, but that means there's less time to spend on what actually matters. And it's not because you don't know what your goal is, it's not because you're unfocused. It's just that what's available feels easier to engage in than what's more intentional. And so the question I should be asking really isn't, why are you applying to those roles? The real question is, why is it that what's available so often pulls our attention away from what's truly important, especially when it comes to the job search? When I start to slow this down, there's a few things that seem to be underneath it all. So here's a good point to kind of pause and think about this and see if one or more of these apply to you. Ready? Okay. When we slow things down, a few things that tend to be driving our attention into what's in front of us is number one, fear of losing that opportunity. Or number two, I've also noticed there is a potential for immediate satisfaction and feeling productive. You can check the box off if you just fill in the fields and turn in the resume for this posting right now. Along the same lines, another thing I've seen come up is a sense of saving energy, conserving energy, because the deep work of figuring out your strategy and finding the right roles to apply seems harder at the moment than completing the surface level action right in front of us. And the last one is a distraction from thinking. You know, when you have a really big project and you find yourself scrolling to sort of avoid getting started on that project, it's the same thing here. Only in this instance, applying for this application simultaneously saves you from the rejection of going for a role that feels better, where your hopes might be higher. So let me ask you, which one of these applied to you? See, what looks like momentum and looks like productivity can sometimes just be relief. And it's only helpful in that sense, but not in your overall goal. If you're listening to this right now and you're thinking, busted, I do this all the time, just know you're not the only one. If you find yourself applying to roles thinking, sure, I can do that, then I've put together a strategy for you that shows exactly how I help my clients to stay focused on the real goal, the one they're actually well positioned for. instead of getting pulled into those job board leftovers. If you want that, you can grab that at theuncommoncareer.com/90. Now, there's a belief underneath all of this that starts to creep up quietly, and it sounds a little like you need to take every chance you can get. And that belief, yeah, it makes sense, especially when responses feel really slow. But there's a different belief that creates more clarity and gives you more power. And that is not every opportunity is really worth your time. Again, super subtle shift, but it is more powerful. It gives you that agency to make better decisions. Because once you stop assuming that availability is the same as importance, you can start making decisions intentionally again. And I'm saying this to you as much as I'm saying it to myself, because normally I save Tuesdays and Thursdays for deep work. This is creating podcast content for you and content for our clients. And last Thursday, I made the mistake of checking my email first, you know, just to see what's in there. Well, this email comes up about a great new opportunity that will grow your business. Now, mind you, I have my plate full and I'm not looking necessarily to blow up and grow my business super fast. But more so, I'm looking to continually deepen the level of coaching we do. That is my intentional goal. And yet, here's this shiny object, an opportunity that just happened to fall in my lap and it's right in front of my face. Of course, 2 hours later, I find myself planning out a system for managing this potential opportunity, which is not even here yet. So tell me, why did I spend my time on this instead of focusing on what I knew already to be my real goal? I noticed what I was doing. As I always do, I took a deep breath, reset my brain, and back into content we go. So interesting, right? What's happening in moments like these is not laziness or necessarily a lack of discipline. It's that this, what is right here, right now, feels easier to just knock it out. Just keep driving on the lane you're already on. And attention wise, when something's in front of us, we're already in that lane. What comes to you is going to feel like a win. What you have to go after isn't a win yet. It requires effort. And not only that, it requires some risk. And even worse, the possibility of wasted time if it doesn't work out. And there's also a lot of fear of missing out, the whole FOMO thing, right? You think, well, something's better than nothing. This is in front of me. I don't want to lose it. But all of that leads to settling up front before you've even gotten a chance to really try. Later on down the road, you find yourself thinking, I'm preparing for this interview, but I'm not even sure I would take this. And now that opportunity, and I'm putting air quotes right now, that opportunity is taking time and energy away from the real search. Now your attention's divided. And we'll talk about divided attention and its impact in a different episode. But here's what I want you to walk away noticing. Just because something is available doesn't mean it deserves your time and energy. Because not every opportunity is neutral or even good. Some opportunities pull you away from the work that actually matters. So, if anything, it's actually not neutral, it is detrimental. And when you start noticing why something feels compelling, I realize this feels compelling because it's going to bring me relief, because it's validating to have a recruiter come after me, even if it's not a good fit. Once you start noticing why things feel compelling to take action on, you get to pause and now choose differently without any guilt. If you're not going to apply to this intentionally, that's a win. So it's not about doing more, it's about being more intentional with where you choose to spend your energy. And when you can step away from the noise and make more focused decisions like this, that's you getting back into the driver's seat of your life. You're no longer reacting. You're no longer settling early before you see your options, but you're moving toward what you actually set out to do. I'm so glad that we got an opportunity to chat today. And if you're, listening to this episode and you're thinking, okay, I need this. I need to have this kind of coaching and decision making that's going to move you from here to your best role, not just any role, but your best role faster. Then I encourage you to start a conversation at theuncommoncareer.com/call. You can head over to that calendar, pick a time, and then you and I will have 45 minutes to really dig into what's actually happening in your search to find the strategy that's going to turn things around. And if it turns out that you and I are a good fit and the program is going to help you, then we can always talk about the program as well. Listen, I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm grateful that we're able to look at these, field notes, right? These patterns from our coaching sessions together. And I hope it's been helpful for you. I'll see you on the next one. And until then, know that Denise and I are cheering you on, and we'll be praying for you as well. Hey, thanks for listening. I really appreciate you spending time with me today. If you found this episode helpful, please tap the 5-star review on the show's homepage in your podcast app. It would absolutely make my day, and it helps others discover the Uncommon Career Podcast. Now, to download your free career resources and learn how I help seasoned professionals land amazing offers in as little as 90 days, click on the link in the description or go to theuncommoncareer.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.